Here with some tips for avoiding accidents on wet or snowy streets is Andy Crouppen of Brown & Crouppen. Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Great Thanksgiving.
Good.
Yourself?
It was good, and we dodged the bullet on the really bad weather here in the metro area. It was a little icy down south this morning. I don't know if you saw that or not, but we were talking before the show how growing up we actually got out and played in the snow a little bit with the cars. We're not condoning that kind of behavior, but having that experience is really seat time in knowing how to control a vehicle in the ice and snow, and I think that's kind of important.
I think for sure. I think it definitely helps me as an adult to be a better winter driver.
Yeah.
Having that irresponsible, and I don't even know that it's that irresponsible. If you go to, some people will go to a big open parking lot
right,
and just sort of test the car out. Don't get crazy
right,
and do 360s,
no,
but just to feel, to make it instinctual that if the car's skidding to the right, if you get enough practice, you know that steering to the right will put you on the right path.
Right.
Steering to the left will spin you around.
Right. I took a class in Colorado one time where we drove cars on a track of ice to learn how to control the car, to stop it right, how to get out of a slide, things like that. I don't want to get too off track. One of the most important things is taking care of the car to begin with.
Yeah, maintenance is the first thing you want to do because that can help you avoid the dangerous situations altogether sometimes. Make sure your tires are not only inflated properly, but aren't bald and needing replacement. It's one thing in the summertime, you can get by a little better with tires. Maybe you can push it a little longer. In the wintertime, that's just a recipe for disaster. You're just basically putting your car on ice skates.
Yeah.
So make sure if you need new tires, don't put that off.
Now this one sounds weird, but planning your trip can be important.
Yeah, for sure. You make sure you know the path you're taking. Check the weather ahead of time. It may affect, if you were planning on leaving at noon, maybe you want to leave at 10 a.m. to avoid some of that early weather. Make sure you have wiper fluid in your car. Make sure you have relatively new, start the winter with new windshield wipers. It can make all the difference.
Wash your fluid, all the equipment you need if you were to get stranded. Blankets or coats or boots or a shovel or something like that, and also maybe planning your route, because if you know you have a big hill that you're going to encounter going one way, you may want to try and get around that hill. And as silly as this sounds, if it's really a bad one, you shouldn't be out to begin with. But if you had to, and people knew what your plan was, they'd know where to go to look for you.
Yeah, they may know your route.
If you didn't show up at your final destination.
And allow yourself plenty of time. I think we tend this time of year to rush and to plan on an hour trip taking an hour, but now all of a sudden there's snow and you still want to make it in an hour. Stay out of the fast lane often on really wet days. As you see accumulating on the side, you'll notice there are puddles sometimes, and you can really hydroplane part of your car, and at that point you're completely out of control. It's out of your hands. The best thing to do, don't slam on your brakes. If you do end up skidding, take your foot off of the gas. Sometimes even downshifting, if it's in snow or slush, can help sort of slow the car down, but don't use your brakes. Let things take its course, counter steer to steer into the skid to make sure you maintain control of your car. And generally, if you know what you're doing, you can take what could be a very dangerous situation and really save yourself.
Well, and like we were saying earlier, a lot of times it has to do a lot with confidence and just seat time, having been in those situations. If you don't have to drive, you shouldn't. We say that all the time when we have these big snow events, but many times we have to. And having been through it before, using common sense and slowing down. I always used to tell my kids, there's two things about driving in the winter weather that you need to know. One is if you have the good tires and the good vehicle, you can know what your traction is. You can get moving. Getting moving will get you home and not get you stuck. Knowing how to stop will keep you from wrecking. I mean, and that's what's more important, is between getting stuck and getting in a wreck. Right. Andy, thank you.
Good to see you.
Good tips.